Welcome to another episode of State of Decay 2 This or That. It's been a while. This is the series where we compare two very similar things in State of Decay 2, talk about them in great detail, pros, cons, unique features, everything, and then come to a final decision on which one is better. Now you've probably seen this done before. Swordplay and striking, heavily regarded as the two best fighting specialisations in State of Decay 2, but is one better than the other? Well, that's the whole point of this series, and we will answer that question. We'll start with swordplay and then striking, talk about everything they give us, every single little detail. I'll then see how effective each specialisation is at taking on individual zombies, groups of zombies, and even play cards. After all that, I'll talk about what build types would be better with striking or swordplay, and then come to a final decision on which one is better. Halfway through the video, I've included a method to levelling fighting that will take your character from 1 star to 7 stars in less than a minute. It's pretty good, so be on the lookout for that. We have a lot to cover today, so without any more waffling, let's just get right into it, starting with swordplay. With swordplay you get 28 extra health, plus 30% blade lethality and 2 unique moves. One of them is a standing execution where you get in front or even behind your enemy and click the finisher button, and your character goes into an animation with the zombie, killing it. This only works for zombies and screamers. No ferals, juggernauts or bloaters can be killed in this way. The other move it unlocks is the ability to leg sweep, where you swing your blade at the enemy's knees and hack them off, leaving the enemy severely slowed down and having to crawl on the ground with only their hands. Again, this only works on zombies and screamers. The bonus we get to our max health isn't really a bonus. Now this is because every fighting specialisation receives this as a result of achieving 7 stars in the regular fighting skill. Each star you got gave a bonus 4 health, which is where the 28 comes from. With every fighting skill except endurance, if you're using a weapon tailored to the specialisation you have chosen, for instance using a carving knife with swordplay, you get an increase to the speed at which you swing your weapon. Now this isn't mentioned in the description, but it's very noticeable and helpful too, so just make sure you're using a bladed weapon with swordplay for the full effect. Moving on to striking, you get that 28 extra health which I've already talked about, a plus 30% knockdown on your weapons, which means zombies will be knocked over onto the ground much easier, and a brand new move called Grand Slam, in which you swing your weapon about 180 degrees clockwise, knocking over any zombie that is in close range. This works on zombies and screamers again. The other bonus you get to striking when maxed out is that the cost of doing Grand Slam is reduced by 66%, meaning that you can spam your most powerful attack to your heart's content. Now just like swordplay, you also get an attack speed bonus when using weapons specific to the skill, in this case blunt weapons like baseball bats. I feel like now's a good time in the video to show you this way to easily max out your fighting in less than a minute, if done right of course. It's really simple. Find a zombie, get behind them and grab them. Press the jump button or whatever button you use that kicks them forward onto the ground, and the second you do this, immediately spam the execution button. Don't stop spamming it until you're just about to go into the execution animation, then click the dodge button to escape it. You could follow through with the execution, but this way allows you to reuse the same zombie. What happens is every time you click the execution button, it counts as a kill, which goes towards your XP to leveling up. Once you've specialised your fighting skill, use a weapon appropriate to the skill you've chosen. For example, a bladed weapon for swordplay, and repeat the process to max that out too. It'll take some getting used to, but with enough practice and a little bit of luck, you can get maxed out fighting in about a minute, which is absolutely game breaking. Anyway, back to the debate. Now we've talked about what the skills offer on paper, and they both sound pretty good, but statistics on paper mean nothing in this case until we test out the skills in the field. We're going to do 5 simple tests of both skills to see which one excels in each scenario. The first scenario is testing both skills against individual zombies, so let's see how they do. Yeah, no surprise here that swordplay was by far better. The ability to insta-kill zombies is so overpowered, and to insta-kill them from any angle as well. Striking wasn't bad either, normally killing the zombies in 2 hits, the first one almost always knocking them to the floor. But even without using the standing execution of swordplay, I was still killing them in 1 to 2 hits, because of its incredibly high lethality. Swordplay excels in one-on-one combat, but let's see how the two of them face against larger groups. So in this case, striking was definitely the preferred one here, I would say. Quite a lot of moves with striking I found had at least some degree of hyper armour, being able to tank damage mid-swing without the move being interrupted. Now that is very good, and it makes trading damage with zombies a viable strategy. It's perfect for a build which I'll talk about soon. The knockdown chance and Grand Slam move works extremely well at knocking down zombies, and I feel like the general moves of striking are more tailored to groups anyway. I mean, take this move here, where you bash the zombies with a weapon handle for example. That's a great move for covering your weak spots, which you'll definitely need in the middle of a horde. Now credit where credit's due, swordplay actually did a lot better than I thought it would against the hordes. The speed, and with a little luck, the high lethality of the weapons could kill multiple zombies very fast. but in some cases I was quickly overwhelmed and had to resort to spam dodging in and out of the horde until I got an opportunity, which still wasn't bad, but not as good as striking. Anyway, moving on to ferals. For ferals, I'd probably give it to striking again. The hits from blunt weapons managed to stagger the ferals a lot more than swordplay could do, which made planning when to dodge a lot easier. Blunt weapons can also put the ferals in a down state, where the feral gets a bit concussed, needs a couple of seconds to recover. If you're quick enough, you can go into an execution animation, and as long as you're not smacked out of it, you can kill the feral right then and there, which is very useful. Yep, striking's definitely the better one here. Moving on to juggernauts. Now this is a complete opposite of the spectrum. Swordplay absolutely clears striking in this case. The speed lets you get more hits in, but also lets you get away with a lot more. Striking is just too slow. It's like your character's trying to outpower the behemoth, smacking it in the stomach as hard as they possibly can, with the juggernaut completely unfazed. I didn't really notice a difference in the number of hits it took either, so just going for higher damage just seems pointless. Not much else to say on juggernauts, bladed weapons were just a lot safer. There's no insta-kill for juggernauts though, just so you know. How will the specialisations do against play cards though? Now this one could have really gone either way, and it's why I need to start saying that at the beginning of the videos that some of the ranking is opinions based. There's no way for it to not be opinions based to some extent, because both skills did alright here against the play cards, but I'd probably give it to swordplay. Am I a little biased? Maybe. Yeah, I guess. The reason why is because swordplay is just so fast. It takes a few hits, but if you're churning out hits incredibly fast, the play card will be dead in no time. Any zombies that showed up to defend the play cart were quickly dealt with and insta-killed in quite a lot of places. It was just easier all round. But what I thought would happen with striking is that if it's much slower than swordplay, it has to compensate in some other ways, i.e. damage. It should do more damage, but it doesn't. Or if it does, it's not noticeable enough to be useful. Even the Grand Slam, its most powerful move, made little to no difference, which I think was a bit of a letdown. I'll leave it up to you with this one, but I think swordplay is just much better for play cards. Now for the final section I want to talk about builds. It's good to have different character builds and roles in your community. I've picked out 3 common build types that you'd most likely use in State of Decay 2 and other games. We've got the tank, the scavenger and the ninja. Starting off with the ninja or stealth operator, this is the build that goes behind enemy lines into plague territory. Maybe they need some specific loot, or they're scoping the place out, or maybe just doing a side mission. Who knows? They need to be there and they need to be quiet about it. Now for this one, swordplay is the go-to. Faster takedowns, instant takedowns, and the majority of bladed weapons make less noise anyway. I can't really argue with this one. It has to be swordplay. Moving on to the tank. As the name suggests, the tank's job is normally to take the majority of the damage for the team, handle the most amount of pressure. They may not do the most damage, but they can resist damage long enough for the rest of the team to get some major damage in. Striking would probably be the go-to here. You can knock a lot of zombies down to the floor at once, allowing the rest of the team to pick them off easily, and although you don't get any health advantage with this skill, you're able to draw in a lot more zombies and keep them where they are, which I think is a big role for the tank to play. And then we have the scavenger build, the build that goes out and brings home the good stuff for your community. Supplies, weapons, valuable resources. Now for this one, swordplay is your best friend. If you're looting a building, you want to go fast, because it prevents any potential danger. Zombies could hear the noise, and then more zombies could be drawn in, which is never good, especially in plague territory. Let's say you're in a room with one zombie, and there are more on the way. You want to get rid of that zombie as soon as possible. Get all the good stuff and then get out before more arrive. With swordplay's ability to insta-kill and demobilize zombies, this makes it the perfect skill for quick and efficient looting. So now it's time for the final verdict. What is the winner going to be? Swordplay or striking? Well, both skills specialise in different things, but I think one skill is just a bit more versatile. Even in areas where it's not meant to be great, it can still hold its own. And that's what I feel most players want, a versatile skill that can help in loads of different situations. A jack of all trades, for the most part, and that skill, in my opinion, is swordplay. But what do you guys think? Am I glazing swordplay a little bit? Is striking actually underrated? Let me know. Leave it in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.